Alright, so on the 11th of October 1899, the Boer War begins in South Africa. The South African Boer War begins between the British Empire and the Boers of the Transvaal and the Orange Free State. Now, the Boers, also known as the Afrikaners, were the descendants of the original Dutch settlers of southern Africa. Britain took possession of the Dutch Cape Colony in 1806 during the Napoleonic Wars, sparking resistance from the independent-minded Boers, who resented the Anglicization of South Africa and Britain's anti-slavery policies, especially in 1833. In 1833, the Boers began an exodus, or the Great Trek, into African tribal territory, which they were told not to do, where they founded the republics of the Transvaal and the Orange Free State. The two new republics lived peaceably with the British neighbors until 1867, when the discovery of diamonds and gold in the region made war and conflict between the Boer states and Britain inevitable. Now, Boers, I can tolerate the slavery, I can tolerate the groundwork for apartheid, I could even tolerate going into tribal lands, which we had explicit documentation with the chiefs that we would not do. We allowed that. But sitting on diamonds and gold mines, I don't think so, buddy. It is time for war. It is time for war. So minor fighting with Britain began in the 1890s, and in October 1899, full-scale war ensued. By mid-June 1900, British forces had captured most major Boer cities and formally annexed their territories into South Africa. But the Boers launched a guerrilla war that frustrated the British occupiers. Damn you, Boer. I thought you were going to fight a gentlemanly white war, but I suppose we're going to have a colonial war of the non-white variety, I suppose. So beginning in 1901, the British began a strategy of systematically searching out and destroying their guerrilla units, while herding the families of the Boer soldiers into concentration camps. The first of the 20th century, mind you, so even before the Namwak-Hira genocide, which is actually the first known genocide of the 20th century in Southwest Africa, run by the Germans. By 1902, the British had crushed the Boer resistance, and on the 31st of May of the same year, 1902, the Peace Treaty of Varingen was signed, ending hostilities between the British and the Boers. The treaty recognized the British military administration over the Transvaal and the Orange Free State, and authorized general amnesty to Boer forces. By 1910, the Autonomous Union of South Africa was established by the British. It included the Transvaal, the Orange Free State, the Cape of Good Hope, and the Natal as provinces, and soon to be Bantustans, but that is in 1948. But I would leave you here by saying it's... What is the word? What are the Dutch? What is the Afrikaner word for learn something? I think it's Iswas or something like that. Iswas. But tell me, have you ever met an SF African before? Have you ever encountered an SF African? Let me know. But that's been a pretty good episode on my part. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something. When I say my part, I mean my part and not a partness. You know, anti-apartheid channel here. But in Afrikaners or simplified Dutch, learn something is leer itis. And until next time, my friends, leer itis. And with that being said, tell me your favorite stories of meeting a South African. Were they nice? Were they not nice? Yeah, tell me about it, man. But anyway, until next time, with my terrible South African accent of the way, leer itis. And until next time, learn something.